Hello everybody. Welcome to today's video, and this is a video that I've really wanted to make for a long time, and I couldn't think of a better medium to do it than what we're going to do for today's video. I've been sitting on this idea, this premise for quite a while, and I'm excited to show you what this video is all about and to kind of run through the motions. This is actually one of those videos where I would be standing up over there, walking around and pacing, talking about real world things normally, but I actually made a presentation, so I'm gonna on PowerPoint. So I'm gonna sit here, and we're just gonna go through it together. The Digimon TCG to Real Money series. You'll notice the little part one there, and whether or not this will be part 2 or not depends on y'all, which we'll talk about as we get later into the video. And I even made notes. You know, I'm very serious if I make notes. So I hope you guys enjoy the direction of today's video. Do let me know what you think in the comment section below. And of course, like and subscribe. That would be very nice. So where is this series coming from? Well, let me tell you something. The card shop in the first half of 2025, Mario's Gaming World has produced lower results than ever before, and by a lot. It's not even close. And you might ask, why? Well, there's a few reasons why. First off, we started the year on a Canada Post strike. Mail was not an option. Then, January to April is my busy season anyway in my main career choice, where I make most of my money. So I was kind of putting the card shop, because of everything else, on the back burner. And it really wasn't doing much, just your set releases, and that was basically it. And then May and June came around, and those months were a little better, but nothing too crazy. And we just had a set release, the Cyber Eid, and all that. Not great. Not great. Why? Well, for starters, I live in a area where, there's no one here that plays cards anymore. When I started this place back in 2019, everyone played cards. A lot of card players here. And then when 2020 came around, and while it was COVID, that did some damage, of course, but the Digimon trading card game was born out of that. Thus, all of this was born from that. And so many people wanted to play Digimon, and it was so big that I was like, you know what? We'll change my YouTube channel around. We'll make it more about Digimon. We'll run the direction. But now we live in a world where the Digimon players are gone. All other card communities, with the exception of Magic the Gathering, is gone from this part of the world. So it's hard to run a in-person card shop with in-person tournaments when the people don't exist anymore. Everyone's moved, everyone's stopped playing, whatever. It sucks, but it is what it is, and that's okay. This was never meant to be a forever thing anyway, right? Now, if this was in Toronto or Ottawa, I'm right in the middle of this, by the way, I could do the wheeling and dealing. You see, what I learned through COVID and what I learned when I was working from home a year and a half ago, it was 2 years ago, maybe. Mario's Gaming World, the physical location, doesn't need to exist, right? I could do Mario's Gaming World from anywhere. I could be anywhere. I could be everywhere. And that's really cool. The problem is when you're in Belleville and when you're a card dealer and you want to buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, it's complicated if there's no one here to participate in that because the community died. Right? If I was in Toronto or Ottawa, different story. Way different story. But that brings us to another challenge. The fact that we are indeed Canada. I'm going to run a little simulation for you to kind of show you what I'm talking about, the current Digimon space in Canada. We're going to go over here to TCG Player. Actually, you can't even see this. Let's move this over here. There we go. Let's say, this is the hot stuff, BT22. Let's say that I wanted to buy a box of BT22. Well, if I'm in America, I can buy one TCG Play right now for $74. All right. If we convert USD to Canadian and we type in 74 US dollars, It's 101.93 Canadian dollars is what it would cost to buy a TCG player. Now, while I can't give you specifics, if I were to buy a Digimon box from our distributor, my distributor that I buy Digimon product from in Canada, in Canadian dollars, it costs more than $101 Canadian. And that's not including shipping and taxes. That's right. And there's no massive deal if you buy cases or whatever. No, it's just all the same. So it's hard now in Canada to do things. And you might ask why are the prices up so much? Well, they're up because of the world we live in, tariffs affecting card games and Canada getting more expensive to live in general, all this shit. It's just insane how much Digimon boxes have gone up. So to my Canadian players out there, you might wonder why your locals are jacking up the prices of Digimon trading card game products. That's why. And if they're not, they're doing you a favor. They are doing you a favor, right? In Ontario, we pay 13% HST, right? So let's just say, hypothetically, I could buy a booster box from a distributor at $102, right? Let's just say. So you multiply that by the sales tax, and then you add another, $10 for shipping. You got to sell a booster box for higher than that, and I'm undercutting by far. Yes, you get the sales tax back when you do your HST every month, whatever, all that shit. But the store's got to make money too, right? It's a real rock and a hard place in Canada. That's where we are right now. And it kind of sucks. It does. So, needless to say, we had a good time up until 2024. But the start of 2025 is when things really got fucked for real. And prices are higher now than ever before, which is unfortunate. So, this brings us to today. With my all-time low profits, revenue minus expenses, for the card shop. And I'm okay starting this as Digimon TCG because the only other card product I've sold in 2025, with the exception of the odd single here and there, is Magic the Gathering. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dead, Pokemon is dead, another card games have no other interest. That's it. It's just Digimon barely hanging by a thread, and Magic hanging by an even tighter thread. It's a problem. And you can't make much money on Magic product either, by the way. It's relatively the same boat. So, we have our challenges, right? So, you'll see the numbers in a moment here. Roughly $2,300 Canadian is my profit up, like with Mars Gaming World, my net takeaway after all the expenses, rent, and all that shit. It's the net takeaway up until and shortly after BT22 release. That's a sad number. It's a good thing I only do this part-time and don't need the income from this, because holy shit, would I be shitting my pants if this was it, right? So, when you have $2,300 to work with, and a business that isn't functioning the way it used to anymore, you really have three choices. You can either write yourself a nice paycheck, so I could theoretically write myself a paycheck for $2,300, but that's not even a month's worth of expenses. That'd be gone by the end of the month. So that's not really a smart option. I could reinvest that into more trading cards. I could. But another problem is that it's being harder to wheel in deal, especially in Digimon right now. That's where I'd want to do it. And it's really hard. Because if there's no one here in person to wheel deal, people got to mail me cards. Then I got to mail out cards. But before I even mail out the cards, I got to buy the cards, have them mailed here, deal with lost mail, which happens from time to time in Canada, especially since Canada post 2024 strike and all that. It's gotten worse. So there's all that. Then I got to list the cards. Then odds are I'm not even selling the cards for 100% of their value, like 85% TCG player. Then I got to ship out the cards. Maybe there's a problem. God forbid. And that's not even considering things that I might buy cards what appear to be on a deal, but maybe you never know. It's not that it never happens to me, but you never know. They could tank harder, or you could be not really making the money Like, I buy for 60, 70%. If I'm selling for the same price but at 85%, you know, that's not a lot of money. It's not really worth my time. So to go through the whole song and dance for $2,200 Canadian investment, no. Or is option three, actually use something useful. Do something useful. Be productive. Try to turn that into something with the path to least resistance. And that is what this series is. This is what this video is about. We're going to turn it into real money. Now, what is real money? That is subjective. But to me, it's turning out $200 Canadian and watching it grow. As an entrepreneur, I like that idea a lot. And I'm at the point in time when I need to focus a lot of time on my main business / potentially relocating. I don't have time to fart around doing the Digimon trading card game, buying and selling, wheeling and dealing through the mail, song and dance in an area where I can't play this game anymore because everyone's gone. So this is the next step in evolution. That's kind of the point, right? When this channel started early 2020, before COVID happened, the whole point was to show you how to be an entrepreneur. And at the time, you could do it with card games here in this area. But, you know, card games will never pay the bills forever unless you're a big wheeler dealer in a big city and have that option. I don't. So we got to evolve. We got to digivolve, as the kids would say. So this here is a TD, and you can see the little TD icon there kind of in the corner. TD Direct Investing Account. What I've done is I open an investing account for the sole purpose of taking my card shop profits, the tiny amount that it is this year, and seeing if we can do something with it. Canadian, of course. And this was as of August 1st, so pretty recent. By the way, I'm recording this video August 4th. It's probably going up August 8th. Probably. Unless something crazy happens. But yeah, I'm recording this August 4th. And just so you know. Anyway, so this is what we're working with, right? Well, the stocks for the intents of this video series, I wanted to do something kind of thematic. It is Digimon money we're turning into stocks. And I wanted to pick a digital kind of stock theme, so to speak. Not crypto. don't talk to me about crypto. But you know, stocks and companies in the digital computer space, so to speak, right? Because digital monsters, you kind of understand the theme, the irony we're going for here. Unfortunately, a lot of those stocks do not work in Canadian dollars, so we had to convert to US dollars. Exchanging the Canadian cash to US cash. Did that August 1st as well at around 9:14 a.m. down here, and turned it into $1,707.66 USD at this conversion rate down here. So we did this. It's a thing that's happened. I've turned all the Canadian to US money. So really, for your US people, I've really only made $1,700 from the card shop in the last 7 months. Sucks, doesn't it? It sucks. I mean, what do you want though? When you don't put the time into it and the area is kind of dead, you know, whatever. We went over that. So, what's next? What do I do with the $1,700 US? Well, before we go any further, I gotta tell you that this video is not financial advice. This is not. Okay? You do whatever you want with your money. Okay? All I'm doing is showcasing to you what I'm doing with my card shop profits and how I'm doing it. And that's it. If you agree, that's great. If you disagree, that's great. That's number one, not advice. And number two, the stuff you're going to hear is the strategy that I've implemented because of the small amount of money. Like for me, we'll call it $1,700 US, is not a lot of money. You know, I'm willing to put it all on the line, so to speak, because it's not a lot. If I'm at the place where if I lost this money, if I put it in a stock and it all went to zero, I'd not be happy, but I'd be okay with it. Like, this would not be the end. Far from it. So, you know, when I'm sticking this into one stock at a time, so to speak, you know, people would view that as risky. They would. And it is, technically. It is a higher form of risk that you're inviting into your life. But I'm okay with it. And, if this becomes much bigger, then down the road we diversify and all that stuff. So, just throwing those disclaimers out there right now. But more importantly, not advice. You do what you want to do. For some people, $2,000 is their whole life, which you may not want to throw in the stock market. And that's okay. It's not a big deal. So, these are a whole bunch of stocks in the quantum computer space. Quantum computing is like the next generation of computing. It's past AI. I'm not going to give the whole song and dance of what it is on this video, but it's the next step. Like, there was AI, and now there's quantum. That's where we're moving. So I figured, thematically speaking, and since I have some already intelligence and research done in this field, and some of my actual money is already in this field, I figured this is perfectly appropriate for the Digimon trading card game, turning profits into money. That's perfect. These are a bunch of stock tickers and names of companies that I trust, and the prices as of 9:17 a.m. EST on August 1st. This is what these particular prices are focusing on. And for the transaction of this video, we're focusing particularly on Rigetti computing. And now you might ask, Mario, what's Rigetti? Is that like spaghetti? It's not. Rigetti is a California-based developer of superconducting quantum integrated circuits used for quantum computers. Rigetti also develops a cloud platform called Forest that enables programmers to write out quantum algorithms. So why this one is second on my list is because I have a lot of faith in this company. The only company where I have more faith is D-Wave Quantum. But I like Rigetti because being able to conveniently write quantum algorithms seems like the next step. It really does. And, they're big enough. Quantum stocks in general are a lot more speculative than other companies, so to speak. And that's okay. That's my level of risk. I'm cool with it. So anyway, on August 1st, I was watching like a hawk. Rigetti, at the time of this screenshot, $14.50 a share. All right, sure. This was, by the way, before the market opened, where the ask price was $14.19. What the ask price is basically what you have to buy it for. Like, if you go on TCG Player and you want to buy BT22 errata, and it's going for $6.50, you have to pay $6.50 to get the card. There's no negotiation. Bid is like kind of the Facebook Marketplace version of it, where you can try to whittle down the price a little bit and see if someone takes it and accepts it. But for all intents and purposes, this is ask. You see, stocks and card games are more similar than you think. And card performance goes up how? When there's hype. And what hype? If news is revealed that gives support to card A, for example, or if it does well in an event. And you'll get your hype, and then it'll drop from there. Stocks works somehow similarly usually. It's just there's varying degrees of how high and how low and all that. And if it's stale, or there's bad news, bad press, which happens in card games too, the stock will fall. Right? So seeing that there's an ask price of $14.19 here, and by the way, this was the theme for all of this. But anyway, we're getting focus. We focus. $14.50 was the last price, like the day before August 1st, and starting to open up at $14.19 means it's going down. All right. So we fast forward to later, 9:37, not 20 minutes later. So the stock market opens at 9:30, right? And I see that Rigetti stock has fallen to $13.92, basically what I can buy it for a share. And I watched it for the first 7 minutes, and it kept going down. It kind of flatlined at $13.92, and I said, "Hey, no problem. That's it." So what I did is took my Digimon trading card game money, and it equals 121 shares of Rigetti, equaling this amount, and there's a $9.95 fee. So this is the total amount that I spent on my 121 stocks. Yes, there's $13 left over in the account. Whatever, who cares? But that's how much we spent. Okay, pretty cool. And that was that trade. So what happened next? Well, throughout the day, Rigetti actually kept going down. But to some who might poop their pants at that, throwing 100% of their allocated funds into something that's going down, it would give you anxiety. Absolutely. But me, I said, you know what? If this is not for day trading. If this falls and it doesn't recover for months, I'll sell it months later. If it goes up soon to a good amount, I will sell it, put the cash back, and keep going over and over as long as I can. That's the whole goal of this. There's no in-depth crazy trading strategy as of right now. That's all it is. I buy when I think it's low, if I have a good reason to buy it, and then if it's in a day later or a month later when it's up, I will sell it and move on. And that's really the strategy. So anyway, we fast forward to today, August 4th is when I'm recording this again. And it's having a good day. Rigetti stock is up quite a lot, past $15 US. And you might ask why. Well, it's because I knew that Microsoft earnings were happening. And Microsoft, who's way into AI and quantum too, is doing really well. And you know the whole saying about tides and ships and all that crap. And, if you can't read income statements and whatever, that's okay. I'm not asking you to. To me, it's like English because I do this on a regular basis. But anyway, so knowing this would happen, figured it was a safe bet. It would probably go up. Not to mention we are entering that phase of quarterly reports, and for a lot of companies anyway. We're getting included soon. But anyway, so seeing this wonderful thing, even though it says to buy, because it's going to keep going up, which in fairness, it actually did keep going up after this, I did sell. For 15, I sold for this amount, 1881.55 USD. I sold it at 10:38 a.m. this morning. And here you can see the exact transactions of this account. It's a very new account. This is the conversion on August 1st when I turned the Canadian into the American money. Then this is later that day when I bought the stocks. And this is the amount where I sold the stocks right here. And that's it. And I'm actually going to move my face here so you can see that's now the total value of USD in the account. So through one trade, I turned 1707 USD into 1891 USD. That's pretty good considering the amount, which is low. Making that much is not bad. I'm impressed with it for the little amount of money we put in there, making almost $200 USD, which is more in Canadian, by the way. I'm happy. And we're going to keep going. Now, again, this is a very passive thing because while I was working away today, D-Wave stock also kind of blew up and I missed it because I was working, right? They introduced new developer tools to advance quantum AI exploration and innovation. And when this news came out and made the waves and all that, it fucking went up like a rocket, kind of. Rigetti was still the winner of today, but I could have made some moves on D-Wave too if I was day trading and would have done well. But I missed it. That's okay. We're not going to win them all with this little side project. We're just turning nothing into something, and we're starting off well. And that's it for part 1 of this video, the series. That's it. Now I leave it up to you, the audience members. Is this something you want to see regularly? Would you like to see regular updates of this to see what it turns into? Let me know in the comments. If it's popular enough, then I will do it a little more regularly. If people are like, no, Mario, this is a card game channel. This isn't really a card game video. Stop it with all the not-card games. Then we'll turn it into a very rare occurrence, so to speak. And, no matter what happens, I'll be upfront and honest like I always am. If I lose it all, I'll let you know. If it turns into something good, I'll let you know. If we're sitting for a while, I'll let you know. Whatever. That's how it goes. To those of you in the comments that do like dabbling in the stock market, what are you dabbling in? Are you doing well or not doing well? I would love to hear it all in the comments, because you learn better by learning together, especially in a field like this. Watching other people's successes will give you your own ideas for success, and you can ride off the wave. It's pretty cool. And that's all for today's video. It's just a long one. It's an introduction of hopefully something very cool. But you let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this or not. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!